Hi, this is Mary Michon from Bensell Greenhouse in Toledo, Ohio, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to bring your plants back inside from having them outside all summer long, getting them back in the house in a safe and clean way. Okay, so right now it's September 17th in Toledo. We are in the Midwest and it is unusually hot. We're about 86, 88 degrees today, and normally the temperatures are coming down. But I'm not so worried about daytime temperatures when I'm looking at my plants and bringing them back into my house. I'm really kind of focused more on nighttime temperatures. And again, we're unseasonably warm. We're still in the 60s at night. And I'm really concerned as we dip down into the lower 50s. That's the number everybody should be paying more attention to instead of waiting until we have a freeze warning. And now you're bringing your plants in at 32 degrees and your house is 70. You have a 40-degree difference. You're going to see more shock and see more problems with your plants than if you brought them in when it's between 50 and 55 degrees. Then your windows might be open. Temperature inside the house is very similar to outside, and you have less shock on your plants. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so I've gathered a few things. I just use things around my house. I don't really go out and buy all sorts of special things. I've got rags, I've got an old paintbrush, I've got my nippers, a screwdriver for getting weeds out or getting things out of my pots. And the nicest thing that I have here is really a Fiskars scissors. I really like this one. I love the Fiskars brand. It doesn't rust even if I've left my tools outside for the night. So I've got all my tools. I've got my soil. Again, I use Pro Mix. This is what we sell at our greenhouse, and I use this for everything there. So I've got a nice bag of Pro Mix because I am going to trim some of my roots and get my plants back up to where they should be so they can get through the winter nicely. So I've got all my tools. I've got a couple extra pots. I don't have all my plants because I probably have about, 8 of them or so that I've actually brought in already. But the first thing that I do before I actually take any of my plants in for the winter is I just take a look at what's going on in the pot. So everybody should be doing this, I would think, yearly at a minimum, if not more. And I just kind of take a look at the root system to see if they're ringing around on the bottom, if it's pretty full. I see a lot of soil here. This is an olive tree. It looks just fine. I've got some really cool little weeds on here that are actually peperomia. They sprout in the fall, they come up and then they die back. So I'm just gonna let them be and leave those in my pot. You can trim out crabgrass, which is a good idea, your dandelions. Sometimes cottonwood appears in your pot. So you wanna kind of clean that away. And then what I like to do is I just kind of take my pot. This is a very old clay pot, but I do like to take my rag. I wipe the pots off, I go on the bottom. And then this guy, because he's not getting trimmed up, I'm gonna do a really quick analysis of the underside of the leaves. I'm going to take a look here for olives that are prone to scale. I'm going to look for little tiny brown spots, but I'm going to set this guy aside because he looks pretty good. I've kind of been watching him all summer long because I know that scale is attracted to olive trees, so I kind of keep an eye on him all summer long. And the nice thing is too is that when you're outside watering, the rain hits them and it tends to wash a lot of your bugs away along with airflow. Airflow is something bugs hate. They like that dry, still air which you have in your house. So sometimes they just kind of sit and wait, and you have bug problems December, January, February. So this is going to be a good step for you if you have bugs in the past. This is a good step for you just to kind of keep the bugs to a minimum, if anything at all. So now I have this Ficus altissima. This is, or Ficus audrey they call it. This is one of my favorite plants. In a clay pot here, but it was sitting on a saucer, and so the root system detected any of the water that was sitting in there in the saucer, and it just went crazy. So I'm going to just take my nippers here, cut this away. This doesn't hurt it, does not hurt it at all. And now I can get it out of the pot. I left my plants very, very dry. These guys have been very dry, so they came out of the pot really nicely. But what I'm looking for now is I just can kind of see that there's a lot of root growth here. And I think what I'm going to do, just because I know that these guys are aggressive when they grow, I'm just going to take my scissors. I'm going to take off a couple inches of the root. And this is something everybody should be doing. periodically, especially if you don't want to keep up potting your plants. Okay, so I've taken a little bit of the root off here, get that going, and then I'm going to take my plant, I'm going to fill my pot up with a couple inches of soil. Just repot your plant as normal, get it in here. Get some nice fresh soil. And now this plant for the winter now has a lot of space in there for the roots to get growing. As you remember, as we all know, our winters can be very dreary in our area. We don't have as much sunlight. We don't have as long of daylight hours. Your plants are kind of taking a little sabbatical. They're slowing their growth down. And so the root growth in the pot throughout the winter is great. You don't necessarily need to see a lot of growth on the top. Okay, everyone, so I had to quickly stop what we were doing, run into my house and get a nice container full of some lukewarm soapy water with dish soap in it. So I just grabbed some paper towel and all of that, and it's really important, especially some of your wide leaf plants, to really get a good washing on them. I take and I do the underside of the leaves, which a lot of times is where your spider mites are going to be, and I literally go through and I wash off all of these plants. Soap on the leaves isn't going to be a real big problem because I'm not going to leave it on there. I'm actually going to rinse this off afterwards. Because I've repotted everything, I've got dry soil, it needs a good drink anyway. So I'm just going to take it over to my hose after I'm done here, and we're going to just give it a nice good drink, rinse all the soapy water off. And I like to get in, I do the stems, I do the nooks and crannies of the plant. You can even take your paintbrushes if you wanted to do that, and you can just come in and I do the stems, I do all the crotches of the leaves, and I go up and down the bark. I do a good examination before I bring it in, okay? So that one is all set. Now I've got this ficus. This is variegated ficus triangularis. This is a beautiful one. Look at how it popped right out of here. I think this is fine too. A lot of good root growth down here, but I really think that these guys like to be tight in their pot. So I'm just gonna let this guy go, okay? But I'm gonna just get him back into his pot, and I'm gonna take my rags and I'm gonna do the same thing with him. It's a little different when you have small leaves like this, so I tend to just take my paper towels and I work it in, and I go over the top like this, spraying them down. A lot of people like to take, like they'll get a systemic and they'll place a systemic in their soil. Realize too that if you're placing a systemic in your soil, it only lasts for so long. Usually it's up to about 3 months, and sometimes you don't even have bugs that are affecting your plants when you first apply it. So make sure you know what bugs you have, make sure you see bugs, then you can apply your systemics and let them go to work. Okay, and the last plant that I have out here is a really cool Hoya. Okay, and he was in this tiny little pot. I pulled him out. I actually did a homemade, just out of some wire, a homemade topiary form with him. And he has been so congested all summer long, and I've been waiting just to kind of get him going. So I'm going to take him out of this pot. Of course, he needs to go up in a bigger pot. Hoyas really like to be tight, and my choices of pots right now are limited. So I'm going to do this guy, and he's going to be good in this pot for the next few years. So I'm just going to repot him. And again, like I said, what everybody should be thinking about over the next couple weeks is our nighttime temps, not necessarily our daytime temps. So don't wait until your plants are inside the house, or you're going to grab them when the weather forecaster is forecasting the threat of a frost. It's too cold at that point. So you're going to bring your plants in sooner. You'll get less leaf drop, but realize too that our plants are recognizing that the daylight is shorter. They're recognizing our nighttime temperatures are dropping, and so the plants are going to show some of this even when you bring them in. Don't worry about leaf drop. That does happen. Continue to water your plants as you normally would. Don't overwater them. Don't overcompensate when leaf drop occurs. Continue to do what you're supposed to be doing with that plant. And the other thing is think about fertilization. There's a lot of plants out there that really need to be fertilized constantly, but a lot of your house plants, a lot of them don't need to be fertilized throughout the winter, if at all, or very minimally. So sometimes I'm only fertilizing maybe once or twice throughout, like November, December, January, February. I'm only fertilizing a couple times out of that 4-month period, and then I start beefing it back up. So think about that a little bit too. We're gonna take these plots over, we're gonna wash them down. The Hoya, this guy, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna really lay him on his side, and I'm really gonna pay real close attention to all sorts of bugs that could be attracted to this plant. It's gonna be a little time consuming. We're gonna go off camera for me to take all this off, but I've already seen 2 spider webs, regular spiders, not spider mite, but regular spiders, so I don't need to bring those into my house. And we're just gonna keep cleaning and checking all of these for bugs, get them nice and watered, and then I'm gonna walk into the house and get them in the right locations. Hopefully this helps everyone. Thank you.